just in case this could turn into some worthwhile thing. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate Zanwar with another subscription. Thanks. I need to set up like whatever annoying Twitch sounds and notifications that happen on the stream. You guys literally don't know. I know nothing about Twitch. You guys, emotes when? Someone teach me how to do emotes. Someone show me how to do this. What do we got? So we were leaving off with buffer overflow exploitation. The buffer overflow prep room, we literally solved the very, very first one. I don't know if I want to continue all the others because there's 10 of these. It's like, is it all going to be the exact same thing? It looks like it is. That might not be the most interesting thing to watch. Mr. Crumbs is saying, yo, how to Twitch? Basically, you just need OnlyFans and a hot tub. I have neither of those things, not gonna lie. Yeah, Nightwolf, you want hype hands? Or ham hands, that's what it is. We could also move on from buffer overflow stuff, or try to get into Brainstorm, or try to get into Gatekeeper, or try to get into BrainPan. Lots of interesting things we could mess with. Or we could just kind of jump into Active Directory and keep goofing off. Active Directory would be a lot of fun, and I think that's where I would like to do. I think I literally actually named this stream Active Directory, so maybe we should do some Active Directory stuff. I see a wonderful link in the chat for a CDN Discord image, and I'm going to review this actually before I bring it up on screen. Here's me and Squirmy. Here's me and Squirmy at DEF CON. I don't know what's going on. I think I have no issue sharing this. I hope it's totally cool. Squirmy, everyone in that crew, I hope you don't mind. Yeah, this needs to be the first emote. Squirmy was having some good libations and wanted to say hello. And I don't know what he was. I don't know why I did like this finger gun thing. But we had a good time. Ooh, currently doing a 24-hour CQ shift right now. When I'm not doing my checks, I'm working through hacking the art of exploitation and doing some binary exploitation. Heck yeah. Will you share that troll lock? You said you would because it doesn't do any harm. Also, if you didn't record, I think you can get the video from Twitch. Ooh, good call. Yeah, maybe Twitch hasn't killed the thing yet. Praxius is asking, John, are you pro hug? Dude, absolutely. I might be a little hesitant about the whole C19 thing, but I might be able to find... Where did I save that? Wicked Blue Ninja, thank you so much for your subscription. If I missed any others, forgive me, but I'm going to be really bad at like, oh, I got to do the Twitch thing. Just read the screen. Hello. Thank you for subscribing. You can download the VOD from Twitch. Yep. I'm going to have to start to do that. Appreciate it all. Appreciate it. Thank you. Where did I put... Yeah, I am a Twitch streamer, apparently. Say Poggers, Keg Champ, Pog Champ. What even are these words? Did I miss all the first badges? Yeah, so someone swooped in even before I went live. Like, a little... I didn't know. Some people knew. Kek W? Kek? That's from the GIF, isn't it? It's from the video. I'm not cultured. We're basically in the just chatting section of Twitch right now, not gonna lie. Anyway, let's do something. I need to remember Vidath, because I know you're asking where did I end up putting the troll lock that we saw. That is something that I should track down. Admittedly, I don't know if I'll be able to do it right now, right away on stream, but let's do some Active Directory stuff, everybody. Active Directory basics. How's the music? Are you guys jamming the same way I am? I see a wonderful link in the chat. GoPro Slowly, I love that you clipped that. Thank you so much. Eclipse is asking, currently working on EJPT. Any tips or things you're thinking I should focus on? Yes. Make sure that you know how to pivot. And I would really recommend port forwarding, SSH tunnelings, etc. What I've said in a recent EJPT video that you should use Plink. What I'm referring to is PuTTY, or the command line rendition of PuTTY. So PuTTY is a free SSH and Telnet client for Windows. in PuTTY, you also have included this utility Plink, which is the command line rendition of that. So that will basically give you the exact same SSH syntax. And you can use SSH forward tunnels and reverse tunnels, and that will help you, in my opinion, do some port forwarding as needed if you get on a victim or get on a target on like an internal network and you're to carve it back out. I would really recommend just grabbing Plink, personally. It really saved my butt. I don't know if it'll help anyone else, but I really don't think you can underestimate the need for pivoting in that exam. Yeah. Nightwolf is saying, don't overthink stuff on the exam. Exactly. You do have plenty of time. Agreed. Absolutely necessary. Vidath is saying, Windows now has OpenSSH pre-installed, doesn't it? It very well does. Correct. So I'll get to my Windows portion here. I should be able to just run SSH, and it is installed and accessible by default. I think they've been doing that since Windows 10, maybe Windows 8. Forgive me. But yeah, SSH forward tunnels, SSH reverse tunnels, SSH socks proxy, stuff that will come in handy. So, any other things before I completely forget? Any other questions that I should be focusing on before I dive into Active Directory TryHackMe things? No. Sweet. Thanks so much, everybody. Looks like I see some new followers. Looks like I see some new subscriptions, and I am so grateful. You guys are what make this community so fantastic and incredible as it is. Active Directory is the directory service for Windows. Morzan X is now asking, any tips for EJPT? I think we just discussed that. Can the chat help me out? Praxia says he's got to bounce. Thank you for being you, my friend. Have a great time, dude. Peace. Active Directory is a directory service for Windows domain networks. It is used by many of today's top companies and is a vital skill to comprehend when attacking Windows. Oh, Morrison was late. I'm sorry. Zero Death is saying, hey, just came from your YouTube video. Definitely following you on Twitch. Thank you so much. Morzanth, or XD, the gist of EJPT recommendations was just make sure you know pivoting and download Plink, the command line version of PuTTY. Detail of specific uses and objects will be limited as this is only a general overview of Active Directory. For more information on a specific topic, look for the corresponding room or do your own research. You stinking idiot. RTFM. That's basically what TryHackMe is trying to say here. They're just being really nice. They're like sugarcoating it. Just friggin' look it up. Use Google. I'm kidding. Thank you so much, Summoner. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sum3N5H. Thank you so much for the subscription. What is Active Directory? Active Directory is a collection of machines and servers connected inside of domains that are a collective part of a bigger forest of domains that make up the Active Directory network. Active Directory may contain functioning bits and pieces, etc., etc., etc. I don't want to read this thing verbatim to you, but I do kind of want to, read it for myself. I don't consider myself an Active Directory guy by any means. I need to get better at it. I need to get sharper at it. That's why I'm excited to go through this. But we got domain controllers in the mix. We got forests, trees, and domains, users and groups, trust policies, domain services. Yeah. Why use Active Directory? Because everyone does. And we fall victim to peer pressure all the time. Just kidding. Physical Active Directory is the servers and machines on premises. That can be really anything from domain controllers to storage servers to domain user machines. Everything needed for an Active Directory environment besides the software. The domain controller is the Windows server and specifically installed role, or the ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services, that is installed on a machine and has been promoted to a domain controller in the forest. Domain controllers are the center of Active Directory. They control the rest of the domain. What the domain controller will do, hide and hold the data store, handle authentication and authorization, replicate updates from other domain controllers, and allow admin access to manage domain resources. The data store is probably one of the most important thing, it's kind of like the keys to the kingdom, holds the databases and processes needed to store and manage directory information such as users, groups, and services. It contains the ntds.dit file, the crown jewel, right? Ooh, Morzan is saying HoloLive is great for practicing Active Directory. I should really jump into that. I know I've been wanting to do Holo for a long time. Maybe we could do that after we finish this section. A database that contains all the information in Active Directory domain, as well as password hashes. That is the crown jewel, right? That's the holy grail. Stored by default in system root NTDS, accessible only by the domain controller. That's everything you need to know in terms of physical and on-premise Active Directory. Now we can learn about the software and infrastructure behind the network. So the database the ADDS contains is the ntds.dit file. That's what we just read. It is typically stored in system root /ntds. What type of machine can be a domain controller? I don't know what you're asking there. Just a Windows server? Oh, so totally nerfed on an accident. Yeah, okay. Just a Windows server. Reith talks a lot about pivoting techniques. Yep, Reith would be very, very good. Now we can talk about the forest. The forest is the abstraction above a domain. It's what defines everything. The container that holds all the other bits and pieces of the network together. Without the forest, all the other trees and domains would not be able to interact. One thing to note when thinking of the forest is not to think of it too literally. It's just a physical thing as much of it is a figurative thing. When we say forest, it's the only way of describing the connection between these trees and the domains by the network. Nice little picture here. The forest is a collection of one or more domain trees inside of an Active Directory network. It's what categorizes the parts of the network as a whole. These contain trees, hierarchy of domains, used to group things, organizational units or OUs, containers for groups, computers, users, and other elements inside of Active Directory. Trusts, kind of relationships, objects, of course, domain services, and domain schema. What is the term for a hierarchy of domains in a network? That is a tree. Cool. What's the term for rules of object creation? Excuse me? I don't know. Oh, domain schema. Like the blueprint, I'm going to assume. The structure and skeleton as to how an object might look and be put together. What's the term for the containers of groups, computers, and things other than OUs? Or, excuse me, and other OUs. That would have to be organizational units. hence the Q and tip there, other OUs. Nice and easy. We're cruising through this. Users, I don't think we need to discuss that a whole lot. Groups, however, might be super duper important and worthwhile to Vidath is saying, why do I feel like I basically saw the exact same pictures and text when I saw your throwback stream? Yeah. Speaking of TryHackMe streak, I saw that we're up to 4 now, which is like you can almost not put that on one hand. We're climbing up, dude. We're almost in 2 hands. Phoenix Harry is asking, is this going to be on YouTube? Yes, of course. There are a lot of default security groups. Like a lot. What type of groups specify user permissions? Security groups. That makes sense. And distribution groups are the others that we should be concerned with there. Specific email distribution lists. I see. Is there a badge at 90? I have no idea. What group contains all workstations and servers joined to the domain? What does that say? All workstations and servers? That should be domain computers, would it not? Yeah. Which group can publish certificates to the directory? Cert publishers. I literally just had to look up, but that makes sense. Which user can make changes to a local machine, but not to a domain controller? Like a local admin? Like a local administrator, you mean? Yeah, okay. Which group has their passwords replicated to read-only domain controllers? Ooh, I don't know that. Where would that be? Oh, allowed read-only domain controller password replication group. Whoa, what a mouthful. I see Zero Death saying, "Hi YouTube. Hi Mom. Hi Mom, I'm on TV." I see Libesia saying, dude, all of these security groups are very painful to remember. I would agree. I feel like I kind of have to hit the I believe button on that. Not gonna lie. Trusts and policies. Okay, so this kind of gets into the relationships, right? This gets into whether or not one domain would trust the other or vice versa in directional or transitive trust and relationships, right? Thunderstruck, thank you so much for subscribing. I notice Thunderstruck as an STRZOK, and that looks like a familiar name. If you are the gentleman that I think you are, it's great to see you again, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Trust and policies go hand in hand to help the domain entries communicate with each other and maintain security inside of the network. Yeah? Okay. I agree. I think this just boils down to the relationships and understanding of how domains could or could not work together. Thunderstruck, I see you. That's it. That's a very clever username, my guy. What type of trust flows from a trusting domain to a trusting domain? That would be directional. Am I understanding that correctly? Yeah. And then transitive is the one that will kind of transition back and forth, if you want to use that weird name. Al has Red coming in with the Founders Badge. Thank you so much, buddy. It's great to see you. I really appreciate all you guys jumping in for this subscription. Wonderlab, thank you. You're all incredible people, and I super appreciate the support. If it wasn't obvious, obviously creating content is all just a giant money grab for me. I'm kidding. I'm completely kidding. Don't clip that. I'm just BSing. We're here to have fun. We're here to goof off. Al has Red, yeah, like same, to be honest, keeping it real. Active Directory domain services are the core functions of an Active Directory network. Services are what's important. I see Blaine Lane Brookham asking, hey, is computer science worth it? And tagging me. Let me get to a quick pivot so I could view this. Oh, Nightwolf did clip it. I appreciate that. Coder Snacks, thank you so much for the raid. Great to see everybody. What are we doing tonight? Why are we off the wall? Why is Twitch going crazy because of this thing? Should we get the lights going again? Good morning, everybody. For those saying good morning. Blaine Lane Brookham had asked, is computer science worth it? Let's get real. Let's get like potential John Cam and real talk for a quick moment. Is computer science worth it? Is cybersecurity worth it? Is IT worth it? Is literally anything in the tech space or computer space worth it? It depends, and I actually was going to end up... So I was asked to give a presentation to another university coming up in October for National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which is super sweet, super flattering. Thank you so much for letting me come hang out with all of you guys in your clubs, in your universities, and all that. I'm really flattered. But one of them had asked, John, would you be willing to speak on whether or not students made the right choice getting into computer science or like studying cybersecurity? And I thought that's such a fascinating question, because if you ask yourself, like if you look yourself in the mirror like, oh, did I make the right choice? I think it's very obviously like, yes, obviously. It depends on how you look at it, right? If you're doing it for like, yo, it's a lucrative gig, we can make a decent amount of chump change. We can bring home straight bags, if you'd like to say that cool kid stuff. There is that. I think that it's not a secret. There's a decent amount of funding and a real need for cybersecurity and computer science. But with that said, Thunderstruck, I see you memeing about the cyber systems major. Don't get me off on that tangent. What came to my mind when I wanted to give this talk, or I'm starting to think about this presentation for, did you make the right choice, or is this worth it? I think the tagline for like a presentation title or a talk should be like, you made the right choice, but there is a lot of work to do. And I mean that in many different ways. I mean that in like, yes, late nights, long time studying, like on the grind, trying to understand crap like Active Directory, trying to do a buffer overflow, trying to study for these certifications. It's like there's so much to learn, and it's an absolute fire hose. There's a lot of work to do personally for yourself to grow and to learn. And then when you take it to the larger community conversation. You talk about information security, and you talk about actual cybersecurity, the stuff that makes the news, right? The stuff that makes headlines. Oh, company X got hacked. Company Y is hit with ransomware. Company Z is being held for whatever millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and crap like that. Obviously, those are real. Obviously, there is a real impact for that. Like, you see a hospital get hit and totally crippled, and now there are legitimate people that are an issue. And I don't mean to be so like alarmist and extreme with that, but I think that's a valid conversation where, like, look, you're going to get into cybersecurity, and you're going to be a good guy, or that's not the right word. You're going to be a defender, or you're going to be maybe an adversary emulation, right? Whether you're blue team or you're red team. Both of these things are excellent. I like the idea of the purple team. Very appropriate that the purple lights are on. But what you do is you're going to be up against real threats, like real adversaries, like real bad people. Country X, country Y, country Z, whatever. You can point fingers and you can make it a stupid political conversation all you want, if you want. But that's, I think, the legitimate thing. And that's actually a lot of, I think, worthy insight that came from Florian Roth. Florian's another researcher, and he recently put out a tweet that he doesn't like the term blue team or red team because it makes it easy to have the conversation. Like, people know what you're talking about when you say blue team or red team, but it also really, really trivializes what we do, in that it does make it a game. It makes it more like a game. And while we're doing this cheesy stuff in TryHackMe or Hack the Box or Ring Zero CTF or playing Pico, Pico CTF, we do a lot of gaming. We do a lot of sport to practice and prepare for cybersecurity. When you are working at an organization and you're having these conversations to, like, oh, how are we going to be ready for the next incident? You do tabletop exercises. You do role-playing games. You play pretend as if it were a toy. But real reality here, this is not just a game. Real threats, real adversaries, real stuff. So I think that would be, if I were to bring this back, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I think that would be the thesis, or like the real vessel between that talk, and maybe that can motivate students, and maybe they'll be like, yeah, I want to go do TryHackMe now. You know what I mean? All right, I'll get off my soapbox. That was stupid. Here's a question. Still not sure about actually getting into cybersecurity as a career. I'm only 17. I need to see more about the job availability here in location. I love computer stuff, generally specific cybersecurity, but learning chemistry, physics, and biology right now. Cybersec isn't well known here. There are no courses in universities that I know of. It just came into a bit of light as the largest news network of SL was taken over by hackers. Interesting. And I think that brings me to a thought, if that's all right. Let me get back on the soapbox, and I guess I'll just continue to speak stupid, prophetic things that no one asked for and you didn't subscribe for. But if you lurk on Twitter, right, if you kind of hang out in the industry, or I guess in the scene, in the culture, there's a funny running joke that's not even a joke, or there's like, oh, everyone talks about how they got into InfoSec and into information security and cybersecurity, but no one ever talks about how they get out. Because people might... it's tough sometimes. As I said, you made the right choice, but there is a lot of work to do, and that hackers, cyber criminals, they like to wreak havoc and do damage over your long weekend. I think that's very, very evident, right, between, what was it, Mother's Day, when we saw Colonial Pipeline, maybe? I forget which one. And when we saw JBS, would have been like Memorial Day or something. And of course the steamship, and of course like Fujifilms, and of course like there was a friggin' McDonald's or something that got hit. And then the 4th of July, And then there was another ransomware incident literally this weekend for a university. So if you get tired of working on the weekends, if you're in incident response, right, or blue team defensive sort of thing, you're gonna be busy. So there's that. Yeah. End of that. As I want to see actually people talking about this, never mind. I keep saying, oh, let's end this, but I want to keep seeing other people and having the discussion here. Vidath the same, be busy. Wow, talk about sugarcoating. Yeah. What you're saying is 100%. UK government, for example, considers cyber intrusion and warfare as a tier 1 threat, the same as terrorism. Yeah. I don't like to get so alarmist and get so like doom and gloom and fear, uncertainty, and doubt to say, oh, cyber warfare, crap like that. But they're I don't know. I don't mean to say those. I don't mean to say that and act like that. You can see the internal struggle that I have. Let's go back to Active Directory. Opera Breeze, thank you so much for the Twitch subscription. You're making me say those things. Like, oh, thank you. Do the boilerplate Twitch persona. What's up, chat? Ominous, amorphous, fully detached persona. The Dry Bones, thank you. Morzan says, do you listen to Darknet Diaries podcast? I wish I did more than I do, I got to admit. Congratulations on the button. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, we were supposed to be doing actual things here. We're going to get into attacking Kerberos room eventually if we do some of the domain authentication as to how people log in or how users actually can authenticate, right? What type of authentication uses tickets? That would be Kerberos. What domain services can create, validate, and revoke public key certificates? Certificate services? I felt like that one was kind of in the name, you know what I mean? Eclipse, thank you so much for subscribing. Pyro is asking some other questions. Is cybersecurity as math focused as some of the courses for it? I love computers and programming, wanted to get into cybersecurity, but a dry cryptography class full of math scared me off. I don't personally, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I don't think security strictly is going to end up doing a lot of math. I, for one, I'm not doing any hardcore calculus for what I do for my day-to-day. Recently, there's been a shift in the Active Directory space, pushing companies to cloud networks for their companies. The most notable Active Directory provider is Azure. Its default settings are much more secure than an on-premise physical Active Directory network. However, the cloud Active Directory might still have vulnerabilities in it, depending on, I guess, how it's really configured there. You could use Azure AD, and Azure will act as the middleman between your physical Active Directory and your user sign-on. This allows for a more secure transaction between domains, making a lot of Active Directory attacks ineffective. Do you use a buffer overflow a lot in malware research or threat hunting? Question from California. So personally, obviously, I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of buffer overflow stuff in malware research. I'm not crafting the exploit. I'm understanding what other people did. So I think it's really worthwhile to understand a little bit of both of the adversarial emulation and the incident response aspect to it, like malware research and threat hunting, which is why I think I'm having fun with what I do, right? Because CTFs lean us towards that adversarial emulation perspective. But if you balance yourself out with doing some other things, like the cheeky, stupid stuff I do on my YouTube channel, hopefully that helps. What is the Azure equivalent of LDAP? I have the graph right in front of me, so I'm going to kind of be a bad student right now and copy the answers from my friend here. Oh, we actually have something to do. What? Are you joshing me? We actually have a machine we can deploy? Wow. Attack box, what are you doing, dude? I never asked for you. I never asked for the attack box. Hey, give me just a moment if that's totally cool. I am going to grab a different drink and take a quick breather for just a bio break while the attack box is loading, despite the fact that I don't want to use it or don't think we have to. But let's do the good usual. Actually, do we have Terminal Parrot? How do I get Terminal Parrot? I need to download Terminal Parrot right now, just for the sake of me going on a bio break. Let's do some go get. Go! I was supposed to show my bash RC file. I'm super sorry. Everyone was upset. Right now I'm using Z Shell. Hello? Where'd you put my parrot? You can just do curl parrot.live? Oh, Matt, you're a genius. Coming in to save the day. Oh, you have to like pipe it to bash? That's the scariest thing I've ever typed in my life. Never mind, I'm not going to do that. I'm using HTTP. Yeah. Do not do that. IRL James, you were just as triggered as me, my friend. That was lovely. You had a stroke. Here's the binary. There it is. You were going to pipe it to bash. I'm glad I've immediately triggered that. There it is. Wow. Well, John will be right back. Quality content. That's what you guys subbed for, isn't it? This is amazing. Alright, I'll be right back, everybody. Thank you so much. Give me just a 2 minutes tops. Hey everybody, you're still hanging out for some reason? You've been just watching the parrot do its thing? JH quality content. Yeah. Thank you for spreading the love. It looks like we saw some. Looks like I saw a couple of gift subs. Thank you for doing all that fun stuff. Can I please quit micro? Get out of here. I have nano alias to micro. I think I also have Vim alias to micro. No, I don't. Yeah. So, like, this sort of thing, that makes me think, like, why would I bother having Twitch transitions and all these silly stream effects where you can just make it up on the fly? Use Cowsay, use Lolcat, use Terminal Parrot. I literally just Googled the word micro, my bad. There's a question here. What is micro? IRL James, thank you for your subscription, my friend. Micro is a terminal-based text editor. It's lovely. If you don't want to submit yourself to VI or Emacs, or like, because you're just a poor boy like me, you're just a weak human being, then micro is a fine terminal thing to make you feel better. Have I ever tried auto recon? I don't believe so. I might have during the OSCP days. I might have used mass scan or some crap. But anyway, we were doing things. we genuinely were. Can I view? Yeah, full screen this bad boy. So what are we doing in our Active Directory attack box? Yeah, you can have my clipboard. TryHackMe. Just don't abuse it. Don't exploit my clipboard, please. I was reading the chat and scrolling, and I should have been paying attention to what I was doing. Now that we talked about Active Directory and understand the theory of it, let's take a hands-on look. I recommend basic knowledge in PowerShell before trying this lab. We'll be taking a look at the internals of Active Directory using PowerShell commands to view machines, computers, users, and groups. Let's deploy the machine, and we can SSH or RDP into the machine or use the browser-based instance. Oh, we could SSH in. That would be kind of fun. We can get PowerView set up, CD downloads, and then load a PowerShell session without the execution policy set, and then import PowerView. Oh, sorry. So we're going to use PowerView to look around. Good stuff. Let's get a PowerShell session. PowerShell session. That's what it's called. From now on, PowerShell should just be called PowerShell. Buy low, sell high. PowerShell high. I cannot zoom in on this, and I really want to. Make the font huge, please. God dang it. 28. There you go. Now you people can see it. All right, let's get into downloads. Let's run PowerShell with an execution policy. They showed the alias, but I think it's good to be a little explicit for your learning. TAC EP for that, and then bypass, so we don't worry about the execution policy. There we go. Hello? Okay, so we should have PowerView in this directory. Oh, we apparently also have Mimikatz and Sharphound. Nice. We're gonna do some damage here. Let's run PowerView, or get that all loaded in here. So you should be able to see the functions and stuff that you have within, now that you've loaded PowerView, with that source kind of syntax there. You could just get child item or dir or ls, the PowerShell drive or a PS drive. And you can see functions. And this syntax looks a lot like a C:\\, right? Like a file system. Because your C drive, there are also PowerShell drives to view like functions and variables and registry. So if I were to spit this out, there's a lot of gunk. But now we could check out all of these things that we now have, all thanks to PowerView, getNet user, getNet session, getNet logged on, getNet, etc., etc., etc. All these functions that would have been created via that PowerView library. If you hadn't heard of PowerView before, we can go ahead and Google it. Was originally part of PowerSploit, and it's a PowerShell tool to gain network situational awareness on Windows domains. Feel dead. Thank you so much for the subscription. Al has read. Going to sleep. Great to see everybody. Thanks for hanging out. All right, so let's use the getNet computer to receive computers, and then we can use full data to get everything, and then get the operating systems. We were to select that property within PowerView. Let's do it. GetNet computer. Oh, I hate that I can't clear the screen naturally, but you can see, okay, these are the computers that are listed here. We have a domain controller, and then we have 2 desktop workstation machines, part of the controller domain, it looks like. If we were to use that tech full details, I think it was, full data, that's what it is. It will return like all of the attributes and objects, properties that it could find, including the operating system in here. Right there, you see it for the entry for desktop 1. You can see it's Windows 10 Enterprise Evaluation. But if we were to select that property strictly, operating system. There we go. That's not all that helpful. It would still be good to see the name just as well. So we can add that as another kind of parameter or argument there. Now that's displayed. And we can see those specific operating systems all stored what would be in LDAP, I believe. No, probably just Active Directory in its thing. What's the name of the Windows 10 operating system? Excuse me? What is the name of the Windows 10 operating system? Windows 10? Enterprise? What? Windows 10 Enterprise Evaluation? That was silly. What is the second admin name? Oh. Oh, they're starting to use getNet user. PowerView makes this nice and easy. Let's select name and then I guess the groups that they're in. Will it display that? Let's just select the name on its own, and we can probably get an idea which is the admin. That looks like a flag. I guess admin 2 would very likely be a second admin name. Which group has a capital V in the name? Let's do getNet group, which should display those just as well. A capital V in its name? You mean like Hyper-V? Cheesy. Good enough. What is the password last set for the SQL service user? So let's getNet user, and all this crap is going to be returned. Can I do a simple filter for like the SQL user? Will you just return the names out? SQL service. I am not processing what's happening in chat, so forgive me. We can use a where object, or we could use a the alias for that, which is the question mark. And I believe that you need to then use the $_ to reference that object. And I think TACEQ was what would work there. Let's use SQL service to return that. There we go. Okay, so we filtered just where the name is going to equal SQL service. So we've only returned that. We can see the description, my password is my password, but we want to know the last password change. Password last set. Looks like that object property is right there. So we can just copy and paste that, nice and easy. Submit. Then we can do a conclusion. Okay, we played with PowerView, and that's it. Hooray! What a wonderful learning experience that we just shared together.